Okay, give me 1 second. I'm just gonna introduce everything, and then I will bring you on, John.
No problem, man.
Okay, thanks. Hey everyone, this is Aaron here. We are here with our talk show, Talkin Geek. So welcome. This is going to be episode 8, season 1, and welcome to the geekiest talk show in the verse, guys. I am here with the fantastic Robert now.
Yes! Remember, the 5th of November.
The
We're
gunpowder
here.
treason and plots.
I see of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot.
So, you know what? We want to know what makes you geek, guys. And on
Yeah.
today's show, we're gonna have a lot of news, a lot of going on. Kind of following up from last week. This week we will actually have somebody different. We'll have John Guetta on. We have some news about a local person here in San Antonio. Some V for Vendetta comments. We're gonna talk to you a little about that, and maybe something else is going on with it. Some video game news from Luigi's Mansion 3. Some talk from BlizzCon, as well as some game releases this month. We also have some movie information about the Terminator Dark Fate.
Ooh.
It's such a good sounding name. As well as Fantastic Beasts 3 and some show talk about Falcon Winter Soldier. And I believe that covers everything,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
we'll get to pretty much everything. Movies and TV stuff all over the place.
Exactly, guys. So let's not, hold John up. So everybody, welcome, please, John Guetta. Hey, John, can you hear us?
Yeah, coming in loud and clear, man. How y'all doing?
We're doing good, man. I'm glad you're here with us. I'm glad you're on with us. I really appreciate everything. For everyone who doesn't know, if you didn't watch some of our older videos, we met John back at Celebrity Fan Fest. I actually followed him a little bit before that. And he created a movie called Wolfsbane 1, and now he has Wolfsbane 2 coming out soon, and a movie that he has released already called Timor. So kind of diving straight into it, John, how'd you come up with Wolfsbane?
Well, man, before anything, I want to say thank you for bringing me on, man, for having me on your show. And I appreciate y'all big time. And Wolfsbane, God, man, you want the long version or the short version?
What version do you want to tell, John?
How much time you got, I think is a good question to ask.
We got 45 minutes and we got other stuff to talk about, though.
So the short version. Actually, man, I created Wolfsbane actually out of fun. A couple of friends of mine had been asking me to actually attend a Renaissance festival. Actually, they've been asking me for probably well over a decade, probably 10, 15 years actually. And I never would, I always thought it was just silly to do such a thing. And I never attended one. I never really ever looked up one. But anyway, finally, after so many years later, they had talked me to attend one here in Ingleside, and they told us. So I said, I'll come up with some character, and it was a far shot. I knew at first I was just trying to throw something dark together to match. I don't know. I don't know if it's my personality or just things I grew up watching, but I just knew I had to be a dark character, and I threw this. The first one together. It was actually the Halloween before that first Red Fair. I think around 5 years ago, and it was nowhere near where I'm at today with Wolfsbane, but it's where I got my start, and that's the reason it started. Was that very reason? In fact, by the time we made the second Red Fair, which was Sherwood Forest out of South Boston, was by that time, which was around 3 or 4 months later, I pretty much had it almost all together, or I would say a little bit more than halfway there in the right direction. And by around 6, 7 months later, I was and so when that we came up with Wolfsbane, actually the name Wolfsbane came from mine because he knew I got started in the Renaissance Festival, and I was actually I was calling my character Cyanide, and he goes, well, that's not a good name, for that time for being in a Renaissance. Yes, he goes. So he goes, Cyanide. He goes, something poisonous. He goes, I'll get back to you. So a day or so later, he came up with the name Wolfsbane, which is a plant, an herb. Actually, it can be used as a poison. In fact, in Renaissance times, it was to the people of the villages would put it in food, mix it with food, and leave it outside the villages to kill off the wolves from coming into their villages. And that's why it's called Wolfsbane, bane meaning to kill off the wolf, to kill off, and wolf was to kill off the wolves. And that's where that name derives from.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's interesting. Yeah, because I remember you telling me that a while back too about the wolfsbane itself, that it was used to keep them away. That was really interesting, honestly, to me, because I never knew anything about that, to be honest.
I didn't need it until I had to look it up because I knew that Marvel had a wolfsbane. I didn't really understand, if that was just where that name came from. Until actually my friend, he reassured me, no, it's the name of a plant. You can't go wrong with that. And but I did still have to look into it and everything because of the comic book. Especially when we got around the comic book areas, actually when I started looking into it, and of course when we got into the movies and so forth, also to make sure I could copyright everything, which I could, and so it was. Here we are.
That's really crazy.
Hey John, we can hear you on our end, but it sounds like we're getting some comments from our folks that they're having trouble hearing you. Is there any way that you can turn your mic up on your end at all?
Let's see. I was doing it through my phone. Let's see if this is better. I had it a little ways away from me, so now I got it right up next to me. Hopefully y'all can hear me better now.
Let's see. I mean, because like I said, he said we can hear you. It just sounds like it's coming in low. I'm trying to mess with our settings too.
Yeah, it might not be coming through our microphone here on our end.
Here, try one thing. Sorry about that. Let me try.
Sorry,
no, man,
that's
my fault. I apologize to everybody out there because I could not get my Skype downloaded fast enough here on my desktop on my Mac, and I'm kind of not too computer savvy, too technical, and this is the guy who edits film, so at least hopefully that'll buy me some slack.
I'm just trying to edit the film. I don't do the audio side. It's someone else's job. So anyone who's watching right now, let us know if that audio seems a little bit clearer now or a little bit better. Give us 1 second, John.
Hopefully they can hear me. Maybe it'll just muffle up my bad words. Is this safe to say bad words on here? Because I got a horrible mouth.
I can edit them out later, so I think we'll be okay. So
I'll try not to give you too much to edit, man. I hate that shit personally. God bless.
Have you heard anything else? Or?
Yeah, I'm still waiting to see it, but I think hopefully that sounded a little bit louder on our end, so I think hopefully that's picking up a little bit more. We'll see. But again, thanks for joining us, John. And I know that one of the things that we're also interested in is you just recently released a short video, to more. I know Aaron and I both had a chance to check it out, and we both really liked it. It was very atmospheric and everything. Just wanted to tell you a little bit, or have you tell us a little bit about how you came up with that story, and I know that there's some follow-up plan for that too, so if you could tell us a little bit about what your plans are for that kind of, those short videos and what that's going to be like.
Oh man, definitely. I loved making volume 1 of Timor. It's I think like 18 minutes by the time you get to the end of the credits. Short film. It was just something I don't know. I was like, you know what? I want to try my hands in SFX, in special effects makeup. I want to film myself. I want to film. I wrote it. I had an idea, and some of these ideas, they come from a lot of experiences, just like Wolfsbane did. And a lot of people don't know that. I'm a huge person on UFOs, on the supernatural. I've been involved in that kind of, I guess, setting, if you will, since I was 5 years old. Seeing supernatural things since I was 5, UFO encounters, and all kinds of things. In fact, we're going to be starting a talk show about it, doing interviews and stuff like that here pretty soon. But let me stick to Timon right now. And so I whooped up this story, and I was like, you know what? I want to do it. I want to use my house, make it easy, and get the crew out here and send everybody their lines. And what I wanted it to be, it started off to be, I was planning to shoot the whole thing one day at this building they were going to let us use here in Kingsville. But because of some issues we had with some of the actors that had dropped in the beginning, I had to replace them. And that's decided instead of having to go through the hassle of setting that venue up again, I got a house. I might as well just use my house and go for it. And we did. I filmed, wrote it, I filmed it, I edited, I directed, I produced, and just ran with it. And part 2's already written, Demon Volume 2. the actors have it in hand already. We're going to have that out by the end of December, and so that'll be out by the end of next month. God willing, that there's no bumps in the road that they'll have to lose any actors or anything like that. But it's all the main same cast. Actually, I will be coming out in volume 2,
Oh, nice.
and for so it's gonna get a little bit more intense. It's gonna be the storyline does continue with everything's gonna continue from volume 1 all the way through volume 4 until we get to the end of it. And I think it's going to just have an amazing end. And we're going to do a little surprise in there I can't share too much, but I want people to pick it up and see if they get it. But I have a little twist I'm throwing in there, and I think it's going to be really cool. And yeah, Demon, it just I don't know. I was sitting there one day and I was like, I want to expand. I've been doing the Wolfsbane here for a while. I want to see if I really can take this to a different level, and with what I got, just being a zero budget and shooting with my equipment and editing with my equipment and going in there and we did it. We did it to put it together, and what the goal is four short films to create like a mini series, and of 4 short films to create this film Temor. And we want to just hopefully once we get all 4, I'll put them all together on a DVD and get it out there. So of course, as they come out, you'll be able to see them on video on demand. But we do definitely want to put the collection together and have it all on one DVD as soon as we finish knocking that out. But I just wanted to do some shorts so that way we could knock it out, edit it, put the volume 1 out there, put another with part 2 or so forth until we're done with it. So temor, of course, a lot of people ask me, what's temor? Temor is a Spanish word for fear, and so that's what the name means. And I just one day I was sitting there and I was going through all of these names, right? All of these names, and I was like fear. I was like temor, and I was like, wow, temor, and I was like, I like that.
Yeah.
And just labeled it, and here we are.
Very cool, man.
That's awesome, man. So I know when we had first met, we had talked about the Wolfbane comic as well, and I believe you have 2 issues out of that. I know you have another movie coming out for Wolfsbane. Are you going to be making any more comics of it, or is those couple issues you have out, is that going to be it?
The comics are written. I am waiting to panel them out and to get them storyboarded, panel it out, and get it to my artist so that we can start. He's actually already started. Clinton Farley, my artist, good friend of mine. He's already actually started working on the comic book for Temor.
Oh, nice.
And so we'll be having that hopefully, soon. Hopefully we can present that in 2020 also. But yeah, the Wolfsbane 3, I do want to get it out. It is written. I mean, all the materials there from the movies and everything that I've written, and it's just me paneling it out and then getting it drawn and getting it going. And but as a movie wise, we're looking at Wolfsbane 3 being the last Wolfsbane movie to go out. It's going to be the Wolfsbane: The Final Dawn, and it'll stop with that. So y'all, I'm releasing that name on y'all's show.
Oh, nice.
And no, that was only I knew it. No one else did. And so it's actually you'll see it towards the end of part 2 of Hell on Earth. You're gonna get a little glimpse of it, and of course the name is going to be released on there. But that's what it's going to be called, Wolfsbane 3, The Final Dawn. Oh. And so yeah, that'll be our final Wolfsbane movie as I go into other movies, horrors, or even just thrillers and stuff like that.
That's awesome. Well, we do appreciate you sharing us that news. That's amazing, because I was kind of curious, actually.
Oh yeah, man, definitely.
So since you are working on Wolfsbane 2, do you have any release date yet for that one?
We're looking at a release date of March of 2020.
Awesome.
Sweet. That's right around the corner.
That'll be an exact year from when we released part 1.
Nice. Okay.
That's awesome.
And as well as, like, I know, like we just said, you were doing the Wolfsbane comics and the Temor comics. Is there any other, like, beyond Temor and beyond Wolfsbane that you want to do, like, comic-wise or movie-wise or even book-wise? Is there any other stuff you have, like, that's down your pipeline? They're like, I'm going to make that one day.
I have we are working. I've got a plan laid out. It's don't know if we're going to run with it yet. It's based on a true story of a close personal a relative of mine, and it's of their time in the cartel, and then having to ended up in prison, and but this family member was in a wheelchair and paralyzed from the waist down, and having the way going through that lifestyle in that condition, and then having to serve, almost 12 years in prison, in a wheelchair unit, but in in maximum security. And that was a movie we're thinking about right, or that I'm thinking about right now, writing out. Not really a lot of special effects or anything like that. It's more of a storyline of this amazing individual's life that he got into to try to provide for his family and so forth, and how it just got strung along until finally his world came crashing down on him, and to show that how even through all that, he came up out of there and is doing fine now, completely out of trouble, and just being a normal person now after such a crazy history like that of being involved in a crazy world, in a crazy lifestyle, in the physical condition that was in that handicap. And so I think it's a story I've been working on. I'm not too sure if I'll plow into it yet, but it's definitely right there to keep sparking up. So that might be something y'all can look forward to.
Nice.
That's
Thank you.
awesome, man. So, we're getting ready to end the interview, but I gotta know, you got all kinds of geek cred, but I gotta know who's your favorite comic character. What back in the day,
Man,
growing up, who's your
when
favorite?
I was what I can remember as of now that I've always grown up loving were two, and I got to call it a tie. It was Spider Man and the Hulk. But
Nice.
then, I guess as I was getting older, I think I started really uh, leaning more to the Darth Vader,
Oh yeah.
and that really when I saw that and saw the movies, all the Star Wars movies. Back then it was just a trilogy that was out. That really impacted my life. That character really spoke to me, and it really dealt with me. And I think that's where a lot when Wolfsbane came out. I think that's why I think I really leaned towards that. And then of course a lot of the dark moments in my life, and a lot of the supernatural moments in my life and stuff like that. And I think I just leaned to this dark character and I involved everything that was involved in my life growing up until this time, and even now to the present day. So I think it speaks for itself. When you get to really know the story, you actually kind of you associate more with the character,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
understand where it was birthed from.
That's
Nice.
really cool, man. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, and again,
Oh,
thank you
not a
for
problem, man. Not a problem.
and thank you for being on our show, man. We really appreciate it. Again, everyone. This is John Guetta. He did Wolfsbane and Demore, which both of them are on Vimeo. You said right now.
Yeah, they're on Game on Demand right now.
Awesome. So y'all can go check them out, rent them, buy them. Again, thank you, John, for being on the show. We really appreciate it.
No, thank y'all, man. Y'all rock. Love you guys, man. Hope to see you soon, Aaron.
Thank you. Hope to see you soon, man. Have a good one.
Have a good one, John. Thanks.
You too. Y'all take it easy.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. So yeah, John Guerra joining us. We'll throw some links and stuff once we get this video all posted and everything to his stuff. But Wolfsbane and Timor, some pretty sweet properties. So thanks again to John for joining us. That was a lot of fun.
It was very much fun. Like I said, we saw him back at Celebrity Fan Fest, so it was good talking to him. And again, he is from Kingsville, out in that area, so a local Texan here.
Yeah, for sure.
And speaking about local Texans, I do want to give this out to everybody in case you haven't noticed. But last week, right before Halloween, we unfortunately did lose somebody, not us, but at Dragon's Lair, over off of Medical, the co-owner Cliff Blend has passed away. Unfortunately, I don't have information as to how. I'm sure the family's keeping that. But if you want to go out to his memorial service, it is going to be held at 3 p.m. on Saturday, November the 16th, at the Porter Loring Mortuary, located at 1101 McCullough Avenue. So if you want to go pay your respects to Cliff, if you knew him at any chance, please leave a comment in our section, either on our page or just anywhere on Dragon's Lair's page. They actually have a couple posts dedicated to Cliff. He was a good guy. Always welcomed you with open arms whenever you came in and needed help looking for comic books, games. He was actually a gamer too. I found out later. I knew him for quite a while, so it's pretty sad that we lost him. But just want to again, if you want to leave info on our end, or go to Dragon's Lair if you want to see if they can give you more info about where the services will be at. And then try to bounce back from that. We have V for Vendetta.
Yeah, it is November 5th,
Yes.
so obviously it's V for Vendetta Day.
Oh yeah.
I think I've had a tradition for at least 6 or 7 years where I watch the movie every November 5th. Haven't watched it yet, so I might have to watch it when I get home. But I gotta get my watch in. But I think we're gonna have a quick discussion about V for Vendetta. But before we get to that, I know you've got some news that you want to share. So take it away.
Thank you to our lovely producer. She has gone ahead and posted on our Facebook page a giveaway. So what we're gonna do is, if you want to win something V for Vendetta related, it's I'll tell you this much: it's a poster. Because I don't think she posted what the poster looks like, but it will be V for Vendetta.
Sweet.
Really cool. She did show it to me. It looks amazing. I like it. It's all you gotta do is basically like our page.
Question: how do I get the poster?
You don't get it.
Oh, dang it!
Talk to your wife. Maybe she'll order you a second one.
All right.
That's the good thing about being married to the producer. You can ask her for a second one.
I mean, I can always ask, right?
Exactly. So all you gotta do, guys, is like our page first, and get someone else to like it. One of your friends, family members, cousin, your dog. I don't care.
Wow.
And invite them to like it.
If your dog has a Facebook page, I definitely want your dog to like our page. Because dogs are awesome.
Dogs are awesome. My dog has a Facebook page.
Huh?
So
Does your dog like us?
No, she doesn't.
Aaron!
I tried to get her to watch. She said no. So you can just like our page. On the thread, if you go to our Facebook page, that would be at facebook.com/officialgygo. You go to our page, you'll see the pinned post, which will be V for Vendetta. And all you gotta do is take a screenshot of you inviting your friend and your friend liking the page. And that's all we need. And it'll be automatically entered. Just screenshot it, post it in the comments, and you have a chance to win that poster.
What if I take a picture of myself pushing the button?
No, Frank.
You should have already liked it. You're our other producer here.
Yeah, Frank.
You're like our backup guy. What's going on here?
Oh, man.
So I'm
yeah.
supposed to like it, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Like the page, Frank.
Lovely how our crew doesn't love our own page.
I mean, that's
What do we pay them for?
We don't pay
We
them.
don't.
There's no money being exchanged hands.
I bought you beer last Monday.
Okay. Forgiven.
So, yeah, V for Vendetta giveaway, but it's a perfect time on November 5th to actually have a quick conversation about V for Vendetta. So, if you read the comic, if you watched the movie,
Yes.
Obviously they're very different, although there's definitely themes that are very similar.
Yes.
So I wanted to have a quick conversation just with you about, how you came to either the movie, the comic. Which one did you come to first? Have you read the comic? Have you seen the movie? How did you come to it? And, what do you think?
So originally it came out when I was still in high school, so I actually saw the movie first. A buddy of mine that I've worked with at the bowling alley, he had seen it and kept ranting and raving about it. And I was like, you know what, maybe. And then I heard Hugo Weaving was in it, and I was like, I'm sold.
Yeah.
So I went and saw it. I fell in love with it, and then I was kind of into comics at the time, but I was very modern comics. So, I had J. Michael Straczynski was my big guy at the time, Garth Ennis at the time. So I was reading that kind of stuff. I really didn't go back to, like, Alan Moore, Frank Miller at the time. Then I moved up to San Antonio, and it took me about 6-7 years after the movie came out that I was able to go pick up the comic book, read it, and I love the comic book. There were certain scenes that felt a little dated because it's 40 years old now. I think 30 years old, something like that.
Yeah, 30. I think it came out mid to late 80s, somewhere around there. So
about 30 years old. So you could see some stuff was dated because it was about that time frame, which happens with any comic or with any book really at this time.
Yeah, definitely. My experience was similar. I saw the movie first as well, and at the time I really wasn't reading comics at all. And it wasn't until I read Watchmen. Watchmen was really kind of the first major comic that I read.
Oh, nice.
And I loved it. And, and I was like, Alan Moore, give me more. And so I went and, I had already seen the movie. I went and picked up V for Vendetta. and I'll be honest, it was really hard to get through from the comic standpoint. I did not particularly enjoy it. I've only read it the one time. I feel like I probably should revisit it at some point. But it's definitely, when you talk about being dated, it definitely is a lot more so than Watchmen. I'm not trying to compare the two, but V for Vendetta is very specific to a time frame. The comic itself is set in the late 90s. It's in a post nuclear war world. It's very set in kind of Margaret Thatcher era politics.
Yeah.
And the movie was very much updated. And Alan Moore famously, especially after League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, was like, no more adaptations of any of my work that I will not put my name on it.
Oh my gosh,
if you see any of the movies or comic, anything that's been based on his work now, his name's not on there. Like if you look at Watchmen, currently on HBO, it's characters co-created by Dave Gibbons. They don't even mention Alan Moore because he doesn't want his name on there. He doesn't want to be associated with it at all. And it's definitely something where the movie definitely takes an update because the original comic, the commentary is certainly, it's about fascism and anarchy, right? And when you get to the movie, it's more just about fascism and the opposition of fascism. There's not really much anarchy in it.
Exactly.
And so when you look at the actual movie, it's definitely updated for modern times. Super hyper stylized.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And obviously Hugo Weaving gives a great performance, but that's the one thing that stands out as being the difference to me is that it's really the message of it is very much changed from the original comic, and it's more relatable to me than maybe the original comic is, and maybe that's just because the mid '80s are gone.
Exactly.
They're past. The Cold War is over. The threat of nuclear war doesn't really seem as tangible as it did back in the 80s.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem where it becomes, like you said, becomes dated because of the Cold War. Back then everyone's worried about the bomb threat. Who's going to launch the nuke first? Is it going to be Russia? Is it going to be America? And then what's going to happen to everybody else in the crossfire? And that's what really, I think, dated it. And the the movie kind of touched on something about it a little bit. Like, the world is in ruins beyond what's going on with them. Like, you don't want to go to America because there's riots in the streets everywhere.
It's a wasteland.
Yeah. So it seems like you said it was a post-apocalyptic nuclear war, or at least international ballistic missiles.
Famine, and they kind of play on all current sorts of, there's bad things have happened all over the world, and England is prospering because we have kept the faith. It's very white supremacist heavy.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And really one of the things that is similar and is definitely carries over, whether it's the comic or the movie, is that the fascists, they're the bad guys.
Yes.
But it's not about them.
Right.
It's about the apathy of the public.
Yeah,
it's about the inaction of the regular person that has allowed fascism to rise.
Yep.
And that is very clearly what Alan Moore was saying is, it's your fault. He's pointing the finger at us, saying it's your fault if fascism comes into the world. And the movie played on that same theme. And
really
so it definitely, it's an important message, just as relevant today in 2019 as it was in 2005 when the movie came out, or 1986, 87 when the comic came out. So.
And that's one thing I read in fact. So I really love this about the comic, and I learned about the movie and comic later on. So there's certain words we can't say on here because YouTube doesn't like things. But the enemy in World War II, the symbol they used was actually originally a peaceful symbol, right? And then
they co-opted it.
They corrupted it. And the finger symbol for them is actually a peaceful symbol too. If you look it up, it's actually something of, I think it's about peace or like love or tranquility or something, and then it gets corrupted as well, which I thought was a cool little like tie to everything. I was like, that's kind of cool that they did the same. Alan Moore did the same thing.
Yeah,
so,
it's 30 years on from the comic. Now we're closing in on 15 years on from the movie.
Yep.
It's still very relevant. It's still something that gets referenced a lot. People, obviously the Guy Fawkes mask, is still a popular costume choice that people will choose on Halloween or anything like that. November 5th. Like I said, it's my ritual. I usually watch that movie every November 5th, and it's certainly something that still kind of. It's very resonant, and especially with what's going on in the world today, it still feels very relevant, and still feels like this is an important story to tell.
Exactly. So go watch the movie, guys. Mine's The Crow. His is V for Vendetta.
Yeah, and fight against fascism.
There you go.
Always.
But who else is fighting stuff?
Who else is fighting stuff, Aaron?
Luigi.
And Luigi's fighting stuff?
Luigi's Mansion 3, guys. The third game in the series right now. And if you don't know anything about Luigi's Mansion, it is a Nintendo Switch game only. And it's basically revolving around Luigi. No Mario, no princess. They have small little parts
Nobody
in it.
cares about the little brother. I'm a little brother.
So he cares about this game, and he should be playing it.
I should. But he doesn't have a mustache.
Yeah, he does.
He does?
Luigi has a mustache,
All right.
He has a mustache.
Is it as good as Mario's?
Technically, yes. It's the exact same one. So if you know anything about that, that's a whole other story. I know too much knowledge about Nintendo, guys. Hey. But basically, it's a ghost game. He becomes like a Ghostbuster, essentially, in the whole series since the first incarnation back on the GameCube. And he goes around in these mansions, clearing out the ghosts, fighting them. The little, you could call it a proton pack for those who've never played the game, has little different abilities to suck the ghosts in, slam the ghosts around, stun them. A little plunger mode to where you can grab things off shelves.
Sweet.
It's a fun little game. I've been playing it. I have maybe 2-3 hours put into it right now because I'm still stuck on Outer Worlds right now. I'm still stuck on that one. But I definitely recommend it, guys. And the reason I bring it up is right now it has topped UK charts as Nintendo's #1 game.
Nice.
And has become the biggest Nintendo game of this year so far.
Nice.
So obviously they hit another home run with their games. And this shows that Nintendo does give a lot of support for their first party, obviously, because this is a Nintendo-only game. It's one that they're always going to hold on to. They're never going to release these things to anyone else. So it's good that they're really taking care of those. But on the flip side, the third-party support for Nintendo is still lacking. But maybe with games like this, they'll be able to keep afloat and keep going forward.
I mean, nothing is as relatable as an Italian plumber.
No, Italian plumber who could jump really high. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to go into that. Anyway, so other gaming news that came out, guys.
Yeah.
BlizzCon just happened not too long ago. Nothing spectacular that came out of nowhere, unlike last year where their big announcement was a mobile game and nobody liked it. And riots started in the streets.
Yeah.
This time they stayed very safe, guys. They talked about Diablo 4, which if you know anything about this game has been around for well over 20 years now.
Yeah.
The series has been PC mainly up until Diablo 3, I believe, finally came out for consoles. This one's coming out on all of them, I believe. But to me, I'm excited, but I remember the days from Diablo 2.
And it seems more in vain with Diablo 2. Like, it seems like Diablo 3 was definitely a departure. And
Diablo 3 went a whole other
was
route.
very different, and it seems like they're returning to those roots of Diablo 2.
Yes.
And it got pretty strong, reaction there at BlizzCon. People were loving what they saw. People are excited for it. I don't think there's any release date or anything on it yet, but people are getting excited for it, and especially I think Diablo 2 I think was held up as the best of the franchise so far.
Oh yeah.
And so if they're returning back to that, and we got Sir Tubbins in the chat saying, Diablo 4 looks awesome so far. So
yeah,
there's one fan at least.
Exactly. You got one fan playing that game. I'm right there with you, dude. I will be playing that game. Because I fell in love with Diablo 2. Hell Cows, if anyone remembers those days of farming Hell Cows, those were fun. Overwatch 2 was announced, which again was kind of what everybody was expecting. It looks fun. I've gotten into Overwatch when it first came out. I kind of fell away from it though as I'm playing other games. But it looks amazing. I don't believe there was a release date for that one. Another thing that is coming out is World of Warcraft Shadowlands. Mm-hmm. That will also be coming out soon. And that's kind of cool because they just did their the classic release for World of Warcraft came out about a month ago or two. And I'm glad they're still updating the new one. I was always worried if they were going to stop that. But if you've never played Warcraft, it's MMO, which stands for Massive Multiplayer Online Game. You pay about $15, I believe, a month, and you can play online with millions, no joke, millions of players all over the world. And it's just you can be an elf, you can be a druid, you can be pretty much anything fantasy based, and you just go around and complete quests. This is the game's, I believe, 6th expansion now. So if you've never gotten to World of Warcraft, maybe check it out. I believe the first 20 levels are free. You can download the game from Blizzard as well. As well as some game releases coming out, guys. This week is probably one of the biggest, most anticipated games of the year. And I don't lie when I say that, because this is going to be Death Stranding coming out this Friday. If you don't know anything about Death Stranding, join the club, because no one really knows. It's finally figured out. But it's anticipated.
It's coming.
Thank you, Kojima, for making this game what it is. But right now, guys, it's following from Norman Reedus is in the game. Guillermo del Toro's in the game.
Oh, nice.
So they both will be in it, and it is run by Kojima, which, if you know anything about video games, he is the guy who created Solid Snake and that franchise. He's also did Silent Hill. He's a brilliant game developer, but this game has finally in the last few months shed some light on the characters, with Norman Reedus being the main star. He's basically a delivery boy, goes around and delivers packages and other equipment to people. And he has a baby.
Sounds fascinating so far.
It's interesting because apparently there's something to do with like dimensions and stuff, and these babies that they carry with them are able to help them see into these other like worlds, I guess. But Norman Reedus' character won't be able to do that without needing this baby thing. I don't know. Like, I keep reading on it and I keep getting confused, and I'm like, I just want to play the game now.
Well, so
It
far
looks
you
beautiful.
have sold me on it. Carry around a baby and see into other dimensions.
Yep,
I'm
and
on
carry
board.
and deliver packages like Fry from Futurama.
So do you have to deliver the packages to alternate dimensions as well? Or?
That they haven't said too much
Mhm.
on.
So it's a fantasy game, because nobody would
It
ever
is
give
fantasy.
Norman Reedus a baby.
I mean, trust me, there's plenty of women out there that probably would.
Hey,
They would want a baby from him, but they wouldn't give him.
That is true.
that may be true.
That is true. But I mean, you got
We love you, Norman Reedus.
I do. I love you.
Come
man.
on our show anytime.
Anytime you want, or Guillermo del Toro, because you're also
Oh,
too,
that
man.
too. Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, both of them are in the game. Guillermo del Toro's, I believe, is the main villain of it. It seems like so far,
Interesting.
running this
Is
like
it-
military faction.
Is
It
it
looks like.
Guillermo del Toro or Benicio del Toro?
I think it was Guillermo. Is it?
Because he's like a director,
Well, Guillermo's
and
the director.
Benicio's the actor. So that's why I'm like,
Hold on. Now
I feel confused knowing
Maybe I'm
nothing
wrong.
about this.
I could be
Yeah.
dead wrong. Cause
I don't know.
I'm me, and it's very possible I'm dead wrong.
Let's find
see.
out.
I'm
He's
gonna
checking
double check.
right
I
now.
don't think Guillermo has ever acted.
I don't believe Guillermo's an actor.
Well, I mean, technically it's just his voice. No, Guillermo. Likeness, Guillermo del Toro.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So, guys, don't
Well, there you
confuse me.
I just asked a question.
Making sure, man.
No, I know. But yeah, it's just his likeness, and I think he lets his voice for the characters as well.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah, because it threw me off too, because I was like, why is he even in this game? But yeah,
Well,
he is in it.
because
It's a voice.
Well,
because he's a big nerd. I mean, Guillermo del Toro has done a bunch of stuff. I mean, he did the first 2 Hellboy movies.
Yeah.
Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah, he did Pan's Labyrinth.
Well, I guess that's
he's done a
the
bunch
thing,
of
because
like horror adjacent type stuff. Like that's definitely his genre. But he does geeky stuff a lot too. So.
Oh yeah. Well, I think that's the thing, because Kojima, I'm sorry. He's the guy who created, like I said, all those other games. He's actually good friends with Norman Reedus. I don't know how they met. I mean, I don't know if maybe he came to set up Walking Dead one day and was like, hey, this guy's cool. And same, I don't know how he knows Guillermo del Toro. I don't know how they all connected. But they're all friends from what I understood. So I
Yeah.
think it was one of those. Again, if you know anything about Kojima, he was working for Konami, which is a huge game developer company. He was let go. I don't remember exactly why. And I apologize. This was years ago. And when he was let go, PlayStation said, "You want to make your own company?" And he's like, "Yes, I do." And they handed him a blank check to make his own company. And so I'm sure once you have all the money in the world, you could get whoever the heck you want to do whatever
Sure.
you want for your video game.
Well, it looks like Mads Mikkelsen's involved in some way as well.
Oh, really?
So, I mean,
That's
he's-
kind of cool.
He's on the page. I'm looking
Oh,
at
yeah.
here. That's his name.
I
That's
was
his
I was
picture,
just looking
so,
for Guillermo del Toro.
Mads Mikkelsen, pretty awesome. So,
That's really cool. I didn't even know.
Sir,
So
Sir Tubbin says that he thinks the game studio is confused too.
probably like they just handed him the check and they're like, "What did we just buy? Why did we buy this?" But
That's
guarantee
funny.
you, on Friday they're gonna cash in on that check. There's gonna be so many games sold, or so many copies of that game sold.
Yeah, maybe.
Unlike this other movie that came out.
Terminator Dark Fate came out this past weekend. Actually got pretty strong critical responses, but the audience did not go see it.
No.
This thing, they're looking at taking a bath in about $120 million because it only made like $29 million opening weekend.
Yep.
It cost a ton of over $185 million just to make it. It's not even factoring in any sort of marketing costs or anything like that. So,
nope.
So far it's made about $120 million, but they're expecting, obviously it's gonna, movies don't build at the box office. They start out strong and then decrease. So they're definitely expecting to take a loss on this. They had originally announced that they kind of had a story arc that was supposed to go over 3 movies.
Oh wow.
But does not seem like they will get the chance to make their sequels.
No, and that's what's sad. Like this franchise, technically, this is the 3rd movie of the new franchise of it, and they said collectively it's been doing worse and worse every time.
Yeah.
This one, like you said, 29 million opening weekend in the U.S. alone. I believe they said marketing was $100 million they spent on this, so like well over $120 million loss at this point.
You think they would have done better if they would have just revamped the whole thing?
I think
trying
so.
To put Arnold and all the other.
Yeah,
personally, I would have just scrapped everything and started over.
I just Hollywood, come up with new ideas. Leave my Terminator alone. The first one, 1984, is fantastic. T2, 1990 is fantastic. One of the best action movies.
Oh yeah.
Ever. And most of the sequels I don't really care for. Some of them are better than others.
Yeah.
Salvation.
But just.
Yeah.
Do something different. Like, stop. You don't need any more Terminator movies. Like, if you want to tell a story about evil artificial intelligence, go and do that. Just stop calling it Terminator and trying to shoehorn it in.
I think that's the problem right now is, back in the 80s and 90s when sci-fi movies were not a dime a dozen, but they weren't where they are now. Like, now we get sci-fi movies, it really does feel like every other day. I think this one has too much competition. Everyone's beaten that genre to death of evil AI.
It's just stale.
It is.
Like, and if your big selling point is we're gonna bring back Linda Hamilton, which she's awesome.
Yeah.
But that is not like you gotta get the teens to this movie to make your money.
Exactly.
That's if you don't draw on a young audience, you're not. And Linda Hamilton's name means nothing to them.
Same as Arnold Schwarzenegger, that he doesn't mean anything to the newer generation.
And so this is I think this was very short-sighted.
Oh, yeah.
As much as I'm looking forward to seeing the movie, I haven't seen it yet. I'm looking forward to seeing it because I like the Terminator franchise, and this got good critical reception. You need to do something new. You need to come up with a new, fresh take on, how to deliver this type of movie.
Exactly.
And just going back
to. They would have just called it Skynet. Everybody knows what it is.
It just needs to not be. They need to not do Terminator anymore.
No, they really don't. I agree with you. I think, and the other thing is, the reason critics like it is they're our age or older. They love Arnold. They love her. They love all these people that they probably grew up on for the last 30 years. They're like, oh, I remember when he was, the Terminator, when he was this and that.
Yeah, and I know that they bring back John Connor. They bring back Edward Furlong into this movie. So, spoiler alert, this is speculation. I did not read this online. I saw a headline where apparently one of the returning characters is killed off very early. So, spoiler alert, I'm guessing it's Edward Furlong. Without having seen the movie, I'm guessing they killed John Connor off very early in this movie.
And he's not even in the previews, is he?
No.
Yeah.
So that seems like the direction they would take. And so maybe, I don't know, are there any Edward Furlong fans out there? Are you outraged that they killed off that character? Maybe they didn't kill off that character. I'm totally speculating.
If you've watched the movie and you're in our chat, just tell us, please. Spoiler alert, Ruben's going to say it. Who did they kill off? Because, I think the problem is they were trying to follow up with Star Wars, like the whole idea of passing the torch on from the older generation, which is what Star Wars did with the new trilogy. They're passing everything on to Kylo, to Rey, and everybody, and it was the passing of the torch. And now they try to do it, and I don't I think no one cares about this franchise enough.
No, I mean, even if you look back at the original movies, I mean, the original Terminator movie, 1984, John Carpenter, was a niche horror film.
Oh, it really
like,
was.
It did not make a ton of money. Like, it was a cool concept and everybody loved it, but it did not make a big money. Now, T2 is an action movie. James Cameron comes in. That guy prints money.
Oh, he does.
And that movie was a big financial hit. But then, T3 still made some good money. They made Terminator Salvation in like the mid 2000s. That was mildly successful.
Annihilation was the one.
Annihilation.
Yeah, no.
Didn't they even do a
Genesis came out, and then
a TV show?
yeah, there was a TV show, the Sarah Connor Chronicles.
There you go. Okay.
But in general, it's been diminishing returns since the 90s, and I just think this is a dead franchise. As much as the critics may have liked this one, obviously the audience is saying we don't want it anymore.
Exactly, and it's weird to me that after, well, let's see, a failed TV show, because let's say the TV show didn't do well, and now 3 failed movies. What made him keep thinking, let's make another Terminator? Who's sitting up there that says, what movie should we make Terminator?
Well,
it's failing.
It's because Hollywood doesn't have any new ideas. And so they go, we want to tell a cool sci-fi story about, an evil alien. And they go, well, do you have any IP? What can you do? Oh, let's do Terminator. That's a name. People will come and see that. And no, they actually won't.
Hollywood, here's your movie for an alien. Robotic cat. Bam. Sold.
Yeah, there you go.
Robotic murderous cat. That's that'll be your next hit right there.
Let's do it.
Sony will give you a blank check.
Yeah. Guys, can you give me a blank check?
So, couple kind of just small notes to finish off on. It was announced, I think yesterday, Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie.
Names I've never heard of. You don't know who they are.
Whatever. Falcon and the Winter Soldier put out a little video. I think it was on Sebastian Stan's Instagram that they're announcing that they are starting filming for the Disney Plus series, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So they're just kind of playing off each other, having a little bit of fun. Showing off a little bit of that chemistry that we've seen from them in some of the movies. So not slated to be released until fall of 2020. So we got somewhere between the next 10 and 12 months. I'm sure we'll see that drop. We'll get a release date at some point, but at this point it's just fall of 2020. But they did start shooting it.
Yeah.
And so, if you're looking forward to that series, like I am, it was cool to get that announcement. They are filming.
I'm so happy that they're actually starting that. I'm worried that they announce these shows and they're eventually just like, nah, we're not gonna do them. I'm worried that that's gonna happen.
No way, man.
So I'm sure one of our other people, part of our show, her name's Victoria. I'm sure she's happy to see Bucky back up there again.
Yeah, for sure.
It'll be nice to see them. I'm glad they're filming it. And then Fantastic Beasts 3?
Yeah, so for all you Harry Potter fans out there, I'm a huge Harry Potter book fan. I thought the movies were pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
The Fantastic Beasts series started a few years ago. Kind of a spin-off prequel set in like the 1920s era. And so originally they've announced that it was, supposed to be a 5-film series. So they've already released the first 2. The first one I thought was okay. The second one I wasn't a big fan of. So they did announce that they're looking at starting filming for the third one coming up in spring of next year. It's set to release 2021 in like November of 2021. So we're still like 2 years away from actually seeing this movie, but it is on par to start filming next spring, and I think they got a new writer. They locked down a writer for it. Like I said, I wasn't a big fan of the last one. Some of the things that they've been doing have not been what I was looking for. Certainly out of this series, I think we'll see. It's been making money because it's Harry Potter. A lot of people love it. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, I think. The second one was very divisive. I think there was people that really liked it a lot, and then there were people like me that kind of fell on the side of, kind of very disappointed by it. Wasn't super excited for the direction they took it in. So we'll see what happens next.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna go because I'm a sucker and I like Harry Potter, and so it's like magic. I guess I'll go see it, but. We'll see. This will probably be the last one. If I don't like the third one, I don't know that I'll see the other ones. As kind of to let you know kind of what type of fan I am. I love Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
When the Hobbit movies came out, I saw the first one in theater, didn't like it. Didn't see the second one in theater, eventually watched it on home video, liked it less. Still have never seen the third one. So Harry Potter's going to lose me. The Fantastic Beasts series is going to lose me if I don't like this third one. So we'll see what happens.
See, I don't even think I watched the first Hobbit and then nothing else.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
So,
and if you disagree with me, yell at me in the comments, but I probably won't respond because
he won't, but I'll laugh and I'll get a good laugh out of it, you know.
No.
And I'll tell him, "Hey guys, there's somebody yelling at you."
Tell me why the Hobbit movies are good. Go ahead.
No, I'll wait. I don't have that much time, guys. So on that note, guys, hopefully that covered everything that you wanted to hear about this week. We got video game news, movie news, show news, and again, big thank you to John Guetta for being on the show.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you being there. And
I want to say next week we'll be halfway through the Watchmen series. It's supposed to be 8 episodes. We've got 3. Episode 4 coming next week. So I think we'll talk a little bit on next week's episode about the season so far. If you are watching the show and you're not going on the companion website on HBO, do it. They're releasing like 3 kind of short things about every episode that just kind of are tie-in stuff. And it's been really fascinating what I've been reading so far.
Oh, nice.
And it definitely, helps to fill in some of the gaps of the show. So if you're not following on the companion website, I definitely recommend it. You can find it if you just go to HBO.com. It's right there. But we will talk about Watchmen, the TV show, next week on Talkin Geek. We'll be about halfway through, so we'll talk a little bit about it. No spoilers, but we'll talk about what we're liking so far.
Look forward for that. Hopefully some Death Stranding news. If not by me, hopefully the other Robert might come in if he's playing it. So a lot of news to look forward to, guys. A lot came out or is coming out actually.
And The Mandalorian is coming next week.
Actually,
so
that's the day
it drops on next Tuesday, so we will be on this show talking about how all of you have seen it. I will not have seen it yet because I come straight from work to this show. So I won't have a chance to watch it until I go home from Talkin Geek next week. But The Mandalorian next week, I'm super excited.
Speaking of that, if you have pre-ordered Disney Plus, leave a note in the comments. If you're excited for it to come out, have you guys pre-ordered it yet?
I'm poor. I can't afford Disney.
Our producer's poor.
Well, that's because you don't pay him.
No, I don't. I give him beer. That's how he keeps his alcoholism.
I don't know. The wife makes all financial decisions in the household, so. If she has pre-ordered it, I'm not aware of that. I know we're gonna get it on day one, but I don't know if we pre-ordered it.
We're gonna bootleg it somewhere.
I'm watching The Mandalorian. You cannot.
We're just kidding, Disney. We won't bootleg it.
We won't bootleg it. Don't look at our IP numbers, and we're getting off now. But thank you guys again. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, and remember, guys, what makes you geeky?